Hey everyone, Andre here, and the big news of the day, or should I say decades, because Mario Party has finally gone online when it comes to the board games. It's something I've been waiting for forever, and I think you have been as well, Tom, right?
Well, especially nowadays when I can't see anybody, yes.
Exactly, like what? Well, this timing would have been better a year ago, but you know what? I'll take it. Anyway, so Tom and I are here to do two things. One, we're going to discuss the online a little bit, giving our early impressions of the game. We've been playing around with it all day. And two, a lot of people have been asking specifically, what happens if someone disconnects from the game? So Tom and I, as well as another friend, actually tested this out to see what happens, and we're going to show it on screen right now. Yeah, it just ends the game. It's nothing super exciting. In fact, it's a little unfortunate because if you're like round 15, 20 into a 20+ round game, that's gonna really suck if someone has internet issues and it pulls it down for everyone. There's no resuming, a CPU doesn't take over, it just ends the game, which is a bit of a bummer. So if you were wondering that, there you go. Anyways, we felt that wasn't enough for a full video, so I'm here to discuss our impressions of it so far, as I said earlier, with Tom. So Tom, we've been playing around with this, as I said, on and off all day. What do you think of it now? Now that Mario Party has finally gone online, which by the way, I can't stress how big that is. What do you think, Tom?
Well, playing it in the stream this morning, it was kind of like how I envisioned, but a little bit better, where sometimes there was lag and a bit slow at times, but then playing after with some people more definitely sort of within 200 miles of each other, that was pretty smooth. I didn't really notice any lag or anything.
Yeah, exactly. We were testing it out after the stream with my friend Connie, who doesn't live far from Tom. So Tom and Connie live in British Columbia. I live in Seattle, so we're only a couple hundred miles apart. And it felt perfect. Like I didn't notice a single instance of lag or delayed input or any choppiness. Did you notice anything yourself?
No, I didn't notice anything. Seemed perfectly smooth. The dice roll, that's one thing you can definitely see where it slows down at times. We didn't have that banana game, though. That banana game is the key, but even then, I'm sure it would have been fine.
Yeah, we noticed when we were playing on the stream earlier, the game which you have to avoid all the bananas was really where things got choppy and really interfered with our experience. So it does seem like your online will vary depending on who you're playing with and where they're located, and of course their internet speeds. All three of us today after the stream had basically fiber speeds or gigabit speeds. So I don't know how much that influenced our near perfect connection, but it definitely didn't hurt. Whereas earlier on stream, when we were playing with both myself and Tom, as well as two other people who we don't even know where they lived, just two randoms from our online chat, and it worked pretty well for the first half of the stream. The second half is where either someone started having Wi-Fi interference or internet issues, I don't know, but that's where the internet connection got a lot more unstable, a lot more choppy. But I will say, even with that, Tom, aside from that banana mini game, even though it wasn't great, it wasn't even good really, I didn't mind it that much, and maybe I'm off base on this, but I feel like of all the games for these internet issues to come up with, and this is not an excuse at all. Like, I wish it played better, of course. It didn't bother me as much here as it does in Smash Brothers. Like in Smash Brothers, when things get choppy, it annoys the hell out of me. In Mario Party, less so.
In Smash Brothers, you need that precision and being able to do the timing of the movements. In Mario Party, it's a level playing field for everybody. Right. Everyone's gonna have the same issues. It's just part of the game. Like, I could see Mario Party being like, okay, it's slowing down now. Like, it's like, all right, just challenge with the mini game. Like, it's not the speed of the game. It doesn't impact it as much.
I think that should. I mean, for two reasons. One, half of the game, if you're playing the board game online, is the board game. So it doesn't matter if there's lag or not. It can still be annoying, especially because it slows down the pace of the game a bit with it taking, longer. There's some major delays there. And then the fact that when you're actually in the minigame, which is where it gets more annoying, but the minigames are always different, and as you mentioned, the performance seems to vary in annoyance on a per game basis, and with a banana game being the worst. But the fact that every minigame is different, no one really has a leg up in most games or not. Whereas in Smash Brothers, like any internet issues, it's consistent in how it affects your ability to play the game. Whereas in Mario Party, it's kind of all over the place, because Mario Party is already a very varied, diverse game. So yeah, I have to say overall, and I'm still gonna play a little bit more. I think I'll be playing a little bit tonight. But overall, I'm pleasantly surprised by one, its performance, and two, I'm thrilled that it's out at all. Like, I honestly was giving up hope we would ever see a fully enabled online Mario Party, particularly 2.5 years after this game came out, well past the point of us thinking we'd ever get an update to this game. I think most of us expected at some point there would at least be DLC to it, because we've seen no signs of Super Mario Party 2. But here we are, 2.5 years later, no DLC, but hey, a free online update that makes it, that adds online almost across the board, so to speak.
It's nice just... Oh, amazing. I was gonna say it's when it slips up for the bananas earlier, but anyway.
Yeah.
When it's also a turn-based game most of the time, so that helps too compared to
Right.
something that's real-time always in Smash Brothers. But to have a free update this far into the game's release, it's like it brings hope almost to other games. Just random free bonuses by Nintendo. It's like Nintendo just working on something maybe for learning about technology in the future, and just here you go. Like, what a nice little surprise, like a present. It's like we had recently with Sony just giving free games. I had all those games already pretty much. This is far more valuable. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I agree with all that. And it makes me wonder, what does it mean for the future of Super Mario Party? Like, is there a sequel on the way? Because if there is, why spend development resources and time, especially on what could have been a key feature of a sequel? Like, if you announced you had full online coming to your sequel, why would you bother adding it to the previous game? And it's making me think maybe Super Mario Party 2, if there even is one, is way farther off than we think.
Yeah, it's either way off in the future, unless it was just so easy to put this functionality into Super Mario Party and try to boost sales, and maybe it's coming next year to keep this franchise going a bit longer, especially during the pandemic. Or maybe they're thinking about DLC and some new boards for the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's it too. That's always a possibility. Maybe there's more content coming. Maybe this is just a sign of things to come. Like, that'd be pretty exciting. Like, maybe Nintendo's like, you know what? Maybe Super Mario Party could just be a platform like Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's got Super in the name. Where do you go from there? So maybe they will offer new content. Like, this could be the start of a platform. I'll be honest. I'd be a little bit disappointed they took that route if they at least stick to how the game has worked up to this point. I enjoy the game. I think it's nice that it was a throwback, kind of, like, I feel like it's halfway to the point of what Mario Party used to be, which is closer than it had been at any point in the 10 years prior to it. But at the same time, I still, I would love to see more elaborate boards. I would love to see some of the more classic style gameplay, like, maybe. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the partner mechanic in this game, for instance, but it's possible they could add that to this. They could make new boards that play very different to the existing game, while being close enough to still fit within the umbrella of Super Mario Party. So, you know what? The more I think about it now, I think the more likely that maybe DLC is actually coming to this game.
I wonder how much it would cost, though. Like, what do you think? Like $20 maybe for new boards?
I think that'd be fair. Like, I think $20-$30, if they add enough new content there, they could get away with it. They could almost essentially make it a new Mario Party just as DLC for this. They've got the skeleton already. They'd just be adding new content, and they could essentially do, they could essentially make what was a sequel, back on Nintendo 64 as DLC for this. Because I feel like, had DLC existed in the days of the 64, we might not have gotten into Mario Party annually. Like, those games are, marginal upgrades that, did change the gameplay a little bit, but it was by and large, just like a content addition to it, while also taking away some of the content before. But here, like, I think it makes sense. Just add on to what you have, rather than re-releasing a whole new game. And say what would be a sequel, perhaps, for maybe the next console. Like, we've seen Nintendo adopt this philosophy a lot more, where you have a single major installment per console or per platform before releasing a sequel on the next one. So
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if more people are playing it, that's more people online for this title,
right?
And that works out well. Now, based off what you were saying in the live stream earlier, do you think this dashes the hope of N64 online and bringing like Mario Party, those ones, online?
I was convinced that was the only way we would ever get online Mario Party, is if they made a Nintendo 64 app for Switch Online, and then you could play Mario Party through its online interface like the NES and Super NES apps. So maybe, Tom, maybe we're never going to get the N64 app, and yeah. But at this point, you know, I do hope that still happens. I do hope it has an online functionality, because it would be cool to play those classic online games too. Honestly, I don't think this means anything one way or the other for an N64 app, but it is funny to me that we finally got it in a mainline game as a proper feature, you know, without it being kind of relegated to one of the virtual console, like, you know, apps that they have. But I still would love to see those at some point. But yeah, overall, oh sorry, go ahead.
Couldn't wait for Switch Pro to Virtual Console Super Mario Party for this, I guess.
There we go. Yeah, but overall, like I'm really still shocked that this update came out. You know, for any number of reasons, like it being multiple years after the game came out, it being online Mario Party at all, which I kind of given up hope for beyond the online mini games they had. The only thing I would say is it would have been nice if they had a matchmaking feature. Like, essentially, you have to know people who are playing this game. Like, it's pretty much friends only. There is a private room option where you can give a code to other people, but presumably they would still be your friends unless you just threw a code out onto Twitter or something. But I understand why that is. Like, I've been saying for years, like, if you just give me a friends only option, I'd be happy. So I feel like complaining about it is you know, kind of beside the point at this point. But it would have been nice if there were an option for those who don't have friends. But the thing is, this is the game that is really meant for friends. Like, it can already test the boundaries of friendship enough as is. Playing with randoms online is going to probably result with people just, like, you know, leaving your board game at least. But it would have been nice if there were an online option for the mini games at least, where you could maybe engage in the mini games with randoms. But who cares if they log out after a game or not, right? But in a board game, if they log out after 6 or 7 turns, that's a major pain, you know, in the butt. So,
well, let's point out we did create the GameXplain Super Mario Party social networking type room to share your codes around, so we got that going as a solution.
Good point. And hey, we may include a link to our Discord. It is a private Discord, but we may include a link in the description for a limited amount of invites. So click the description if you want to join the GameXplain Discord. So Tom, any final thoughts on either the online of this game or Super Mario Party 2 or DLC that could come to this game now?
Well, online worked great. In the chat this morning, people were asking, you know, for a Galaxy board. I would love to see something unique and creative like that. I don't think it's going to happen though.
Yeah.
But just more and more minigames are great. And it's funny with these announcements. Like yesterday, was it the Domino's Noid announcing Crash Bandicoot? It's like, okay, I can see that happening. And today it's like online and Mario Party. It's like, what?
Yeah,
it's more shocking.
You're right. Just like back-to-back random announcements. Like I really can't get over how weird of an update this is, or how surprising an update this is. Also, real quick, speaking of kind of weird things, to fully test everything, by the way, everyone, I want you to know we actually used the Nintendo Switch Online app today, the voice app, to do all our voice chat during a game. It works. I have to say, I mean, I knew it wasn't bad before, but I've tested it before. But I'm still surprised with how well it actually works overall. I'm not saying it's the best or optimal solution, because it isn't. But for what it is, it actually isn't bad. The voice quality was solid. It was kind of nice not having to wear a headset. I just threw the phone in front of me and used that, and you know, I have to. But you could use I think you could use like an earpiece as well. But yeah, I was surprised at how well it worked. But Tom, what did you think of it?
Very simple to use, very surprising, where you don't really have to press anything on your phone other than start. And yeah, worked great. It just took a few seconds to kind of warm up on my phone, I would say, to get the connection there. But once it was there, I could hear everybody. It worked fine. I really wish you could flick around those icons on the screen, but you can't. But oh well.
Yeah, I know. The little bubbles, you mean. Yeah, I wish you could like, flip them around too. Yeah, why? Oh, I know why I want to do it, because there's like chat bubbles like in Facebook or other apps on your phone where you can just throw them around the screen. And it is kind of missing from Nintendo Switch Online. Let me throw the icons around, Nintendo. That's the next surprise update I want.
And quickly too, we had it where one person was trying to join with 2 people playing, and you can only do that with 2 switches. So you can't have 4 people playing on 3 switches in that regard. We were running into some issues with that, and it's like, oh yeah, it is clear in the user interface, but we were trying anyway. Yeah,
that is a little annoying and confusing. It's something that seems to be common in Nintendo Online games for whatever reason. Yeah, if you want to do multiple people for multiple systems, 1, you're capped at 2 per system, it seems, and 2, you're capped at 2 systems. I don't understand why that is. I don't understand why it's so complicated, but that's the case. So it's either 1 person for every system or 2 people at max for 2 systems. So there you go. Tom, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Just a great, pleasant, nice update from Nintendo. I mean, thank you.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, hey, yeah, exactly. It's nice that we have it, you know? Like, cool of Nintendo to give us a feature that, you know, some might say should have been there originally, but we knew it wasn't going in, and we weren't expecting it ever to come to the game, and here it is. So, yeah, kudos Nintendo, good move. Even if the online isn't perfectly smooth the entire time, I've been happy enough with it in my instances of testing it, especially with, as I said, the most recent game where 3 of us who are relatively close, and a few hundred miles apart, or kilometers in your case, Tom.
It changes once you get to the border.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it worked flawlessly. Like, it actually legitimately worked flawlessly when we were playing it. So that second time. Anyways, guys, that's our impressions of it so far. But what do you think? Were you surprised by this update, or as surprised as we were? And did it work as well as you expected it to? Let us know by posting in the comments below, and of course make sure to click the subscribe button and check out any other videos from GameXplain you might be interested in that are on the screen right now for more content from us and everything else gaming as well. With that, we'll catch you later. Bye everyone!